Hello everyone, this is Douglas. Now originally, I was going to show you a full video of every recipe I was going to make this year. But today, I have the wonderful assistance of my lovely wife, and we ended up knocking out about 6 different varieties of cookies. And I realized that to try and put that all into one video would be a little prohibitive. It would just be a little repetitive, if nothing else. So today we're going to show you how to make step-by-step one cookie, the strawberry milk chipsters, and then we'll show you a montage of the other cookies we made, which included oatmeal chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, peanut butter, and some others. You'll find recipes for all of these, though, of course, on the website, and you can check there, douglasewelch.com. Now the first thing we do is we add into the bowl of our mixer, our fancy KitchenAid mixer. I won it at last year's Tech Munch conference. Yay! 2 sticks of butter is 1 cup full of butter. You'll see me slicing it up here because it was still just a little hard. You don't want it melted, but you do really want it soft when you're making cookies. It makes things work better, but sometimes you just have to move things along. And now, the special ingredient, Nesquik Strawberry Quick. This is where they get their strawberry flavor from. This is one of the things that attracted me to this recipe, is using this very nostalgic ingredient in these cookies. It actually works really well with the white chocolate chips that you put in later. The balance of flavor between the strawberry and the white chocolate is almost like a strawberry and cream type of recipe. And it actually tastes pretty darn good. 1/2 cup of the strawberry powder goes in. I usually put a little shake extra in at the end just to give it a little more strawberry flavor. And then you add in 3/4 cup of brown sugar, firmly packed. Then you turn on the mixer and cream it all together. Creaming is a really important part of making any cookie. You want to make sure that you've got a really good blend between the butter and the sugars. That base alone will make sure that you end up with a really nice cookie. Now we add in 2 large eggs. And something which I've forgotten in past years, which was 2 to 3 drops of red food coloring. I think I may have left that out in the past. The Nestle Quick does give it a nice red color to begin with, but this just enhances it. Now this year I have a very special ingredient. This is my own home-brewed, home-extracted vanilla extract, and I'm using this in all of our cookies. In this recipe we put an entire tablespoon of vanilla into the batch. Normally it's around a teaspoon or so. I do a little double dip there because it was a little hard to reach into that bottle. To make vanilla extract, all you do is you buy vanilla beans and you soak them in some form of clear alcohol, whether that's vodka, Everclear, or whatever. Within a few months, you end up with a lovely jar of vanilla extract. And now we're coming down to the wire on this recipe. We put together, first of all, we mix together 2.5 cups all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda. Important to remember the difference between soda and powder. You want to blend all those ingredients together first, all the dry ingredients, so that when you add them to the wet, all 3 of the ingredients get equal opportunity to blend with the wet ingredients. And now we add our last ingredient, the white chocolate chips. And you do this on the slowest speed of the mixer possible. Most have a stir function. And you don't want to beat these in too long or they'll start to break down into little particles. You do still want them to be nice big morsels. So just until they're incorporated, that's all you want to do. And now we scrape down the beaters and the bowl, and we're ready to put them out on trays for baking. Now you'll notice that I use a fairly small disher to actually dish out these cookies. It helps to keep them similar size so they bake equally on all sides. I also do it for another reason, and that's to keep them small. People have a lot of different choices at our cookie party, sometimes up to 14 or 15 varieties of cookies to choose from. It's an open house that goes on all day. You don't want people to fill up on one cookie, one huge cookie. So you have to make everything bite-sized. and I try to stick to that adage as much as I can. These probably come out to be, maybe 2 bites in size, but you do want to try to keep everything as small as possible, and the disher helps to keep your portions equal all the way around. That's the same reason they use it in most cafeterias you visit. You'll also notice I put more than the usual 1 dozen cookies on each tray. I am baking a lot of cookies in a relatively short period of time, and so I do take some shortcuts. It doesn't seem to affect things that badly. The cookies still bake very well and very evenly, although they do take a little bit longer to bake than it might say in the various recipes or on the package. So be aware of that if you do crowd in my case, usually 15 cookies per tray instead of just 12. You won't be able to do that though if you have a cookie that spreads at all. They'll just all run together and you'll have to cut them apart once they come out of the oven. And here's what they look like when they come out of the oven. You'll notice that these are fairly brown on the bottom. You can only really tell that though by looking at the edges of the cookie. If you get a chance when you're baking, rotate the trays between the racks, turn them around 180 degrees while they're baking. That'll help to make sure they bake evenly too. With cookies like this, it can be a little hard to tell when they're done, so look for that brown edge. Move the cookies off to a cooling rack like you see here. Within a few minutes, they'll be almost entirely cooled and ready to pack away. So that's all there is for the strawberry milk chipsters. Here's us laying out some oatmeal chocolate chip, again using the same disher. We also made oatmeal raisin. Here they go into the oven. And like magic, back out again. I also mixed up a batch of cornmeal wafers. These are some cookies we really like. These are icebox cookies. So what you do is you make the dough, wrap it in plastic wrap, and then put it in the refrigerator to solidify. Then I'll actually bake these the day of the party rather than now to make sure I have at least some fresh baked cookie smell in the house when everyone arrives. I just slice off the cookies, put them on a tray, and they bake within about 8 to 10 minutes. And finally, our last batch of the day is some very traditional peanut butter cookies. And again, I do make these much smaller than usual, but of course you can't forget the traditional fork cross-hatching on top. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. You can find recipes for all these cookies on the website, douglasewelch.com.